Look what came in the mail, a brand new tag for Yu Jing, and we're going to paint this bad boy up and have a look at how he's going to fit into the Imperial Service Sectorial. Corvus Belli were kind enough to send me a copy of their new tag just as Adepticon was underway and as it goes on pre-order. I just couldn't wait to paint it, even with its rather funny name.
What's funny about Bickus Dickus?
Okay, so the name Long Wang actually translates to Dragon King, far cooler than my infantile brain finding juvenile humour in making cheeky references to...
Wang!
Okay, I promise that's the last bit of fun I'm going to make about the miniature's name. I promise. When we open up the box, we can see we get the parts for the tag in a bag along with the base, and don't forget the quality control number. In case anything is missing or damaged, you can request replacements from Corvus Belli. At first, I was expecting the model to be Cyocast, but on further inspection realized it is Unicool thermoplastic. Over the years, this particular plastic has been getting better and better with more defined details, and the models go together so easily and quickly. It literally took me minutes to clip a couple of bits of flash, dry fit and then stick. No cleaning needed. Very little mold line or flash cleanup, and it all sticks quickly with super glue. This got me onto painting quickly, and I started with airbrush work in my ghetto airbrushing station. That cardboard box has served me well. And of course, when airbrushing, I crack open a window and stick a mask on. Ready to go. My Yu Jing army has green armor with red trim. As the green covers the majority of the body, it made sense to try and airbrush the volumes as much as I could. Starting with a black primer, we were working from dark to light. For the shadow of the tag, rather than a dark green, I went with dark Prussian blue, as it's a naturally colder progression from green and will work to add contrast to the green of the armor. With the base coat down, I chose deep green from AK, as it's a natural progression from the blue we began with and will allow us to jump forward naturally to a green that leans towards the yellow spectrum. Focusing the airbrush at a roughly 45-degree angle from above, I made sure the model got good coverage of deep green, while still showing some of the blue in the recesses and shadows of the model. The next pass was using ice yellow to focus the points of the armor I wanted to be brighter and make a transition. This is a layer that will help the color that follows, as the paint is not fully opaque, and I wanted the light value underneath to help blend the greens together. The last pass I made was with Frog Green, which leans very heavily into yellows. Where it sprayed onto the ice yellow, the Frog Green was more intense and then naturally faded into the deep green, giving a very smooth transition from the Frog Green highlights all the way down to the Prussian blue shadows. With the airbrushing done, I moved on to painting exclusively with a brush for everything else. Before going into too much detail work, I like to map out the color scheme for the miniature. I knew my palette was going to include red trim and non-metallic steel. With these in mind, I mapped out all of the steel with black and the red with dark crimson. As I continued to paint up the model, let's see what makes the Long Wang unique. First of all, Long Wang is a police tag. What does this mean? Well, what it is equipped with will help in dealing with enemies of the state, and not necessarily kill them, but detect and capture. The Long Wang comes equipped with a biometric visor, which helps them deal with impersonators by removing the negative mod on discovery, and upon discovery will uncover the unit immediately. It also prevents impersonators and Hollow Echo users from using surprise attack. The Long Wang also has the ability to immobilize the enemy at medium range with the adhesive launcher, and close up with the light riot stopper, which comes with +1 burst. As a main weapon, there are two choices, an HMG or a Mark 12 with +1 burst. With the added burst, these guns become synonymous apart from their range bands, making the Mark 12 basically a more deadly Spitfire. This gives you a choice for a short to mid-range or mid to long-range tag. My personal preference is to go for the HMG for best versatility. You have deadly mid to long range with the HMG, the ability to immobilize at the short to mid-range with the adhesive launcher rifle, and light riot stopper at very close ranges. Other abilities of note are its saving roll -1, which basically improves the HMG and Mark 12 from a possibility of survival 5 to 4. To make the Long Wang even more aggressive, it has BS attack -3. This puts a negative mod on any target that the tag shoots at. This is going to make you want to engage as much as possible against targets, as they will struggle to return fire or dodge your attacks. Finally, there is an NCO option for an extra 2 points. However, when I run NCO models, I usually like to have access to 2 lieutenant orders. But with only the Xian carrying this option, it's a very expensive extra 2 orders into a unit I would equally want to make use of on the battlefield. It could still be an option if you're running a cheap lieutenant and want access to an extra order for only 2 points. Right, let's get back to painting up the Long TAG. We have been working on building layers with progressively lighter paint. For the steel, it has been a grey scale with a touch of jade mixed in to give it a very clean metallic look. For the red, we have been getting increasingly lighter with a warm red hue. And for the gun, we began with light umber and worked up to an ivory. As long as you use thin coats and do not cover all of the previous layer, you can achieve a smooth transition quickly. For all the recessed spots across the armor, I wanted to paint these as if they were lights, keeping to the red as a contrast to the green. To make them appear as lights, I mixed progressively higher ratios of white in with the red to spot the center of the recesses as the point of the light emission. For the red shoulder pad, I wanted to add the Chinese characters for the tag. I drew it out with a light grey and then went over this with white. It turned out a bit wonky, but not bad. Well, not terrible. With the miniature finished, I just had the base to do. My Yu Jing are on the rough streets of the city. When I put the model together, I used a texture paste from the Diorama FX range from Vallejo of Dark Earth. This gave it some grit and volume. Going over this with black and then dry brushing a dark grey and cold grey got the tarmac look I wanted. A yellow line helped make it look like a street. It was still a little too clean though, so using black, red and ochre pigment powders, we could give the base a little more wear and tear along with dirtying the Long Wang's feet as well. And with that, the tag was finished. The Long Wang was fun to paint, and I cannot wait to put it on the table. I will say that it seems smaller than other tags of a similar silhouette. It seems to fit right between other tags of a similar size and S5 silhouette models. What do you think of the Long Wang? Is it the tag ISS needed in their arsenal, or should we leave him at HQ? I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and thanks again to Corvus Belli for sending me this promotional copy of the tag. If you want to know more about the Imperial Service Sectorial for Yu Jing, why not check out this video over here where I talk about all of the profiles from the new action pack. Go on, click it. You know what you want to, you.
Because